Hello, welcome to Capital Sensei. Today, we're going to talk about a truly staggering number, 3,495%. That's the potential improvement you can make in your life, and specifically in your finances, by applying the principles from one of the most practical books ever written, Atomic Habits by James Clear. We will break down how tiny, almost unnoticeable changes in your daily routine can compound into massive financial wealth over time. And I'll give you the exact step-by-step framework to build the habits of a saver and an investor, and dismantle the habits that are keeping you poor. Whenever we can, we answer questions in the comments. This channel is a community, and the more we share, the more we all learn. So as we go through this, if a specific struggle or a success story comes to mind, please share it below. Your experience could be the exact piece of motivation someone else needs to see to finally get started. Let's start with that big, flashy number, 3,495%. Where does it come from? It comes from a simple yet profoundly powerful mathematical reality. The power of compounding 1% improvements. If you get just 1% better at something every single day for a year, you won't end up 365% better. The math is far more explosive, because each day's improvement builds on the last. You actually end up nearly 38 times better than when you started. That's an improvement of almost 3,700%. For our purposes, let's stick with the spirit of the number. The point isn't the exact percentage, it's the mind-bending power of tiny, consistent gains. Most of us hear the word compounding, and we immediately think of money in an investment account, earning interest on interest. And that's correct. But James Clear's genius was showing that habits compound in the exact same way. Your knowledge compounds, your health compounds, your relationships compound, and most certainly, your financial well-being compounds. Making one good financial choice is great, but it's just a drop in the bucket. Making one tiny, good financial choice every single day. Now that's how you build an ocean of wealth. Think of it like building a great wall. Looking at the finished structure is intimidating, maybe even impossible. You think, I could never build that. But nobody builds a wall. They lay one brick, then another, then another. The wall is just the result of laying one brick perfectly, over and over again. Your financial freedom is the wall. Your daily habits are the bricks. Today, we're going to learn how to lay those bricks. The first major shift in thinking Clear introduces is to focus on systems, not goals. This sounds a bit abstract, so let's make it concrete. A goal is a target, a destination. I want to save $10,000 this year. A system is the process, the daily routine that gets you there. Every payday, I will automatically transfer 15% of my income into my investment account. Can you feel the difference? Goals are about a moment in time. What happens after you reach the $10,000? Do you stop saving? Often, people who are intensely goal-focused achieve their target and then revert to their old habits because they never change the underlying system. The system, however, is permanent. Winners and losers often have the same goals. Every athlete in the Olympics wants to win a gold medal. It's their system of daily training, diet, and recovery that separates them. In finance, everyone wants to be wealthy, but only those with a system for earning, saving, and investing will actually get there. So, how do we build these wealth-generating systems? Clear breaks it down into a simple, four-step loop that governs all human behavior. This loop is constantly running in the background of our lives, creating our habits. The four steps are cue, craving, response, and reward. To build good habits, we need to make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying. Let's tackle them one by one and apply them directly to your money. The first law is, make it obvious. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior. If you walk into your kitchen and the first thing you see is a cookie jar on the counter, you're far more likely to eat a cookie. The jar is an obvious cue. To build good financial habits, we need to scatter our environment with obvious cues that prompt us to do the right thing. And to break bad habits, we need to make the cues invisible. Let's start with breaking a bad habit: impulse spending online. What's the cue? It's often a promotional email from a store you like. Flash sale, 50% off for the next 2 hours. That's a powerful, obvious cue. The solution? Make it invisible. Go into your inbox right now, find every single promotional email, and hit unsubscribe. Every single one. It might take you 20 minutes, but that one-time action eliminates thousands of future cues that tempt you to spend money you shouldn't. Another cue for online spending is having your credit card information saved on websites like Amazon. The one-click buy button is the definition of making a bad habit obvious and easy. So, make it invisible. Go into your accounts and delete your saved payment information. The next time you want to buy something, you'll have to physically get up, find your wallet, and type in the 16 digits. That little bit of friction gives your rational brain a moment to ask, do I really need this? Now let's flip it. How do we make good financial habits obvious? Use a technique called habit stacking. The formula is, after I do my current habit, I will do my new financial habit. For example, after I pour my first cup of coffee in the morning, I will open my banking app for 60 seconds to review my spending from yesterday. The coffee is your existing ingrained habit. You're simply attaching the new desired behavior to it. It becomes an automatic chain reaction. Another example, when I sit down at my desk to start work, the first thing I will do is move $50 from my checking account to my savings account. Or every Sunday evening, after I put the trash out for collection, I will sit down and plan my meals for the week to avoid expensive takeout. You're using existing, solid parts of your routine as a launchpad for the new habits you want to build. Design your environment. Put a book about investing on your nightstand instead of your phone. Change the homepage on your web browser from a news site to your personal finance dashboard. Make the good choices the most obvious choices. The second law is make it attractive. We are motivated by the anticipation of a reward. Our brains release a chemical called dopamine, not just when we experience pleasure, but when we anticipate it. Marketers know this. They don't just sell you a product. They sell you the feeling the product will give you. The feeling of status, of comfort, of attraction. We need to use this same trick on ourselves to build good financial habits. Saving money often feels like deprivation. It feels unattractive. I can't go out with my friends because I have to save. We need to reframe this. Saving money is not an act of restriction. It is the act of buying your future freedom. Every dollar you invest is a tiny employee you are hiring to go out and work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When you check your investment account and see it has grown, that's not just a number on a screen. That's your army of dollar employees reporting back with what they've earned for you. Isn't that an attractive thought? You're not giving up a $20 lunch. You are choosing to purchase an hour of freedom in your 50s. You're not sacrificing a $100 pair of shoes. You are choosing to buy a day where you don't have to work for anyone else. This mental shift is critical. You must associate saving and investing with positive outcomes and freedom, not with pain and sacrifice. Another powerful technique here is called temptation bundling. This is where you link an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Let's say you love listening to a certain true crime podcast, or you love watching a specific show on Netflix. From now on, you only allow yourself to indulge in that pleasure while you are doing a positive financial task. For example, I will only listen to my favorite podcast while I am doing my weekly meal prep. Or I am only allowed to watch the next episode of The Crown after I have reviewed my investment portfolio and initiated my weekly transfer. By bundling the temptation with the habit itself becomes more attractive. Your brain starts to crave doing your budget because it knows that's its ticket to listening to that podcast. You're tricking yourself into looking forward to it. The third law, and perhaps the most powerful for finance, is make it easy. Human nature is like water. It follows the path of least resistance. If a task requires a lot of effort and friction, we're likely to put it off. The secret to consistency is to make the right choices the easiest choices. In the world of money, the undisputed champion of making it easy is one word: automation. If you only take one thing away from this entire discussion, let it be this: automate your savings and investments. Do not rely on willpower. Do not rely on remembering to save what's left over at the end of the month. Because I can tell you what's left over for most people: nothing. The single most effective financial habit you can build is to pay yourself first automatically. Here's how you do it. Call your bank or go into your online banking portal. Set up an automatic recurring transfer. The day after your paycheck hits your checking account, have a set amount or a set percentage of that money automatically transferred to a separate savings account. Better yet, have it transferred directly to your brokerage or retirement account. You make the decision once, and the system executes it for you perfectly, every single time, without you lifting a finger. The money is gone from your checking account before you even have a chance to see it, before you can be tempted to spend it. You will be shocked at how quickly you adapt to living on the remaining amount. This one action removes the need for daily discipline. It makes saving, the most important financial habit, completely effortless. It is the definition of making it easy. Another concept under this law is the 2-minute rule. When you're starting a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The goal isn't to achieve mastery on day one. The goal is to master the art of showing up. Instead of saying, "My new habit is to do a 1-hour deep dive into my budget," which sounds daunting, you say, "My new habit is to open my budgeting spreadsheet." That's it. You just have to open it. That takes 5 seconds. Instead of, "I'm going to read a chapter of a finance book every night," your new habit is, "I will read 1 page." Anyone can read 1 page. What happens is that once you've opened the spreadsheet, or once you've read that 1 page, you often find yourself thinking, "Well, I'm already here, I might as well do a little more." The 2-minute rule isn't the end goal. It's the gateway. It's about making it so ridiculously easy to start that you can't say no. Log into my brokerage account, write down one thing I spent money on today. Search for high-yield savings account on Google. Start with 2 minutes. The fourth and final law is make it satisfying. Here's the fundamental problem with most good financial habits. The reward is delayed. When you eat a donut, the reward is immediate and delicious. When you skip the donut and save the $3 instead, the reward, being financially secure in retirement, is decades away. The human brain did not evolve to prioritize long-term rewards. It craves immediate gratification. So, to make a habit stick, we need to find a way to inject some immediate satisfaction into the process. The most powerful way to do this is with visual tracking. Our brains love to see progress. When you save money, it often just disappears into an account, and you don't feel it. So, make it visible. Get a simple wall calendar. Every single day that you stick to your budget and don't have any unplanned expenses, you get to draw a big red X on that day. Your goal is simple. Don't break the chain. After you get a chain of 5, 10, 20 days in a row, you will feel a powerful psychological pull to keep it going. That little X is your immediate, satisfying reward. You can do the same for a savings goal. Let's say you want to save $5,000 for an emergency fund. Print out a picture of a thermometer or a simple grid with 100 squares. Each square represents $50. Every time you transfer $50 into your savings, you get to color in one of the squares. Taping that piece of paper to your fridge and watching it slowly fill up with color provides a tangible, visual hit of satisfaction that your banking app just can't replicate. It makes the progress real and immediate. Another method is to give yourself a small, immediate reward that reinforces the habit rather than contradicts it. Let's say you successfully followed your meal plan for the entire week, saving you $150 on lunches and takeout. Your reward isn't to go out and blur $200 on a fancy dinner. That defeats the purpose. Your reward could be allowing yourself a guilt-free hour to play video games, or taking a long, luxurious bath with a bath bomb you've been saving. The reward says, because I was disciplined with my money, I have now earned this moment of relaxation. So, let's bring this all together in the context of that 1% daily improvement we started with. How do you actually get 1% better with your finances every day? It doesn't mean you have to increase your net worth by 1% a day. That's absurd. It's a metaphor for the accumulation of these atomic habits. Day 1. Your 1% improvement is taking 10 minutes to unsubscribe from all marketing emails. You've just made impulse spending less obvious. Day 2. You set up an automatic transfer of just $5 a week to your savings account. You've just made saving easy. Day 3. You read 2 pages of a book about index fund investing. You've just compounded your knowledge. Day 4. You decide to make your coffee at home instead of buying it, and you move the $5 you saved into a jar on your counter. You've just made saving satisfying. None of these actions are heroic. None of them will make you rich overnight. They are tiny. They are atomic. They are, in isolation, almost insignificant. But this is where the magic of compounding takes over. The person who does these things is on a completely different financial trajectory than the person who does not. A year from now, the difference is noticeable. 5 years from now, the difference is staggering. 20 years from now, it's the difference between a life of financial anxiety and a life of financial freedom. Imagine 2 identical twins, both earning the same salary. Twin A doesn't really think about their habits. They buy coffee every day, eat out for lunch a few times a week, subscribe to a few services they don't use, and generally spend what they make. Twin B, after watching this, decides to make a few atomic changes. They automate 10% of their income into a low-cost index fund. They start making coffee at home and packing their lunch. They cancel the unused subscriptions. In the first month, the difference is barely visible. Twin B might have an extra $200 invested. Who cares, right? But that $200 is now working for them. Next month, it's another $200 plus the small return on the first $200. And the habits get easier. It becomes second nature. After 5 years, Twin B has tens of thousands of dollars invested and growing. Twin A has a memory of some decent coffees and lunches. After 25 years, Twin B is a millionaire. Twin A is wondering how they're ever going to afford to retire. Same starting point, same income, radically different outcomes. The only difference was their system of tiny daily habits. This framework of the 4 laws is a universal toolkit. You can use it to build any habit, but it's uniquely suited for the challenges of personal finance because it directly counteracts the psychological traps that keep us from building wealth. The trap of delayed gratification, the trap of friction, the trap of negative association. Let's think about it like this. Your financial life today is simply the lagging measure of your past habits. The amount of debt you have is a lagging measure of your spending habits. The amount in your savings account is a lagging measure of your saving habits. The results are already in, but your future financial life is not yet written. It will be the lagging measure of the habits you start building today. So don't get overwhelmed by the idea of saving thousands of dollars or becoming an expert investor overnight. Forget the big goal for a moment. Just focus on the system. Focus on laying one brick. What is the one tiny 2-minute action you can take today to make your desired financial future more likely? Will you make a good habit more obvious by putting your banking app on your home screen? Will you make it more attractive by reframing saving as buying freedom? Will you make it easier by finally setting up that automatic transfer? Or will you make it more satisfying by printing out a visual savings tracker? Pick one, just one, and do it today. That is how you start the compounding process. That is how you get 1% better. Your financial success is not born from a single heroic act of discipline. It's forged in the mundane, quiet, consistent execution of good habits. Your net worth is not determined by how much you want it. It's determined by the systems you live by. The journey to that incredible 3,495% improvement doesn't start with a leap. It starts with a single atomic step.